Namaskar. Very warm welcome to all the viewers and learners in this very special live interaction of CIET and CRT. I am Renu Bhatt with you all, and you are watching us live on eVidya channels from channel number 6 to 12, and apart from all those channels, you are with us on our YouTube channel as well, that is NCERT Official. And dear learners and viewers, in this special webinar, we have our 5 days online training program, and it's our 5-hour online training program, 1 hour each, and from today's onwards till 19th of January we have this online training program organized by CIET and CRT. And let me share the theme of the training program. Our theme is integration of virtual labs in teaching learning, and we have different topics for each day, and the topic for today's webinar discussion is virtual labs policy perspective, need and space. You may not be aware of virtual labs, its benefits, its usage and the need and the outcomes, and how you can use virtual labs to enhance your teaching learning process. We have joined by our experts to throw more light on this particular topic. So without any further delay, let's quickly meet them. You are Professor Indu Kumar, you are Head of Department of ICT and Training Division, CIT and CRT. Very warm welcome, ma'am.
Namaskar.
And we have joined by Miss Nidhi Adlakha as well. You are Senior Academic Consultant from CIT and CRT New Delhi. Very warm welcome, Nidhi.
Thank you.
And dear learners and viewers, in case you have any query related to this particular topic, virtual labs, how you can use them, and you share all your queries and doubts through our various mediums. You can reach out to us through our various medium. You can call us on our telephone number, that is 8800 440 559. Either you can drop a mail as well. Our email address is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. We would appreciate your efforts if you share your feedback as well. And if you have joined us through our YouTube channel, that is NCERT Official, you have to go to the live chat box, and then only you can drop your comment out there. Our experts will be happy to answer all your queries and doubts if you have any. So let's quickly start this particular webinar. And ma'am, we are going to discuss more about virtual labs, policy perspective, need and space. And virtual labs is the need of the hour, can we say so, ma'am? And we will begin this webinar from you with the question, what are the advantages of virtual labs, ma'am? Please explain those, ma'am.
Yes, as we can see on slide, there are a lot of benefits of having virtual labs. And right now, as we all know, we have a Diksha platform in place, which is One Nation, One Digital platform, and we can abbreviate it a digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. And to have the virtual labs on Diksha, there are a lot of benefits that we have thought about. So all these virtual labs are available on Diksha for free. So that we all know. So that is one of the benefit, that for the good of the nation, the virtual labs resources on Diksha are free for the consumption of our user. Please cut on to the slide so that we can also focus on some more advantages of Diksha. So we can also access these resources anytime, anywhere, since they are available online. So with the accessibility of internet, we can have them anywhere, anytime. In case of physical labs, as we all know, that physical labs can be accessed only during school hours. When children are in school and they have a lab period, they can have access to lab, and in the supervision of teachers, they can perform lab experiments. But to practice these lab experiments and to perform these lab experiments, having them in virtual mode is for the advantages of children, because they don't have that foundation to have access to lab only during the school hours, only for a few periods which are allocated for lab experiments. Now they can access them anytime, anywhere, beyond the boundaries of schools and beyond the timings of schools. Then the another benefit of having virtual labs is that they complement and supplement physical lab. We are not saying that they are the replacement of physical lab. Physical labs have their own advantages. We need to have physical labs wherever they are required, because performing the experiments in physical real environment is very important for consolidating our learning. But we cannot repeat the same experiment again and again, because periods are allocated for that. So having lab experiments in virtual environment, in virtual mode, have this benefit that they complement the real experiment which we perform in the laboratories, and also they supplement the physical labs. So these are some of the advantages of having virtual labs.
Ma'am, these are the advantages, and here I just wanted to know more about virtual labs. So what are the types of resources which are available on virtual labs, ma'am?
So there are a lot of different resources which are there on the virtual labs, which are placed on Diksha, which are part of our Diksha portal. So any learning, if we want to consolidate our learning, there are various ways, there are various various resources also through which we learn. It is not that we learn only by reading a textbook or only by when a teacher teaches us, but we have discussions also, we have a lot of teaching aids also to consolidate our learning. So there are a lot of aids which we use to consolidate our learning. So likewise we have a variety of resources on virtual labs. So there are theories and procedures there which are available in the form of a text document, where we learn about the theory associated to a particular experiments, and that theory can be best learned by learning through practical, by performing or conducting the practical. So the concepts related to the experiments are there in that section, which is titled as theory and procedures. Then there are animations and videos also on the same theory and on the same procedure. So by watching a video or an animation, we understand that theoretical concept better by visualizing it, because that animation or video help us visualizing that those theoretical concept which are explained in the previous section. Then we have a simulation. So now the question arises, what is meant by simulation?
Right.
So simulation is a broader term which allows us to have a 3D visualization of a particular concept which demands a 3D visualizations. So in the simulation section, we have the same experiment in simulated form, where students get a near to real experience of performing experiments. So in the virtual environment itself, they can handle the equipment which are available in the virtual lab which is there. So simulation are those kind of resources where they can have near to real experiment experience of the of performing the experiment, though they are not in the real lab, but they are in the virtual lab, and handling the equipments and other articles which are associated to that particular theory, procedure and whatever the concept is in question. Then viva voce. So viva voce is there for the self evaluation of the learners, where after going through theory and procedure, watching animation and video and handling the simulation, they get to know what they have learned. So That is how the resources on virtual labs are placed, so that right from the theory and procedure to actual deriving a particular learning outcome associated to that theory is actually learnt by these students. So, all these resources are just to make sure that they have really consolidated their learning on a particular concept.
Exactly, ma'am. And you rightly said we have variety of resources on
Right.
these virtual labs. There we have theory as well as we have videos and animations as well, so that the concept will be easily goes to
Right.
the learner, ma'am. Here I just wanted to know, how does VL help learners, ma'am? What are those quality, ma'am?
Qualities of the
Ma'am, how does these virtual labs help learners,
help
ma'am?
learners. Yeah. Yeah, so that is very important to know to our viewers also, ki how these virtual labs actually help a learner in consolidation of the learning. What benefits do they get from the virtual labs? So these virtual labs help learners in a variety of ways. The first being, they can perform experiment multiple times, not a single time.
Right.
Because in the real lab environment, the experiment can be performed once, as it is placed in their curriculum or in their timetable. So they can they can have the limited access or limited opportunity to perform that experiment, but in the virtual environment they can perform the experiment multiple times, as many times as they want to perform it, and that too without consuming the chemicals. Because if we are performing chemistry lab experiments, so a lot of chemicals are also there, lot of material are also there which are consumable. Once we consume them, they get finished. So here in the virtual environment, all these chemicals are also available virtually, so they are not wasting actually the articles and the chemicals, and sometimes chemicals may get hazardous also. So if even though they are performing the experiment without the supervision of a teacher, it will not get hazardous. So that is why it is one of the benefit of virtual labs, that they can be performed multiple times, and that too without consuming any articles and chemicals which are required for performing the experiment in the physical labs. Then it helps them revise theoretical concepts, because by reading or studying theories, we may not get to know the concept with clarity. There may be many questions if it require any kind of practical exposure at well. So it help us revise the theoretical aspect of the particular concept. So that is another advantage or for the learners. Then they obtain a result of time consuming experiments also. So in the physical lab, experiments are sometimes time consuming, and results also they get after waiting for a particular period of time. But in virtual environment, by interacting with the equipments or interacting with the virtual apparatus, they get the result very quickly. They don't have to wait for the changes to happen, but they get it by virtue of having it in the virtual environment. They get the results quicker than they have in actual lab setting. Then analysis of results, when we do analysis of results of a conducted experiment, so it also help inculcating a logical thinking and critical thinking among the students. So that is how a virtual lab experiment, performing experiments in virtual lab help helps our learners.
So ma'am, definitely it's extremely beneficial for all the learners. What about the teachers, ma'am? Is it beneficial for them as well?
Yes, definitely it is beneficial for the teachers also. So by having experiments in virtual environment, it doesn't mean that it is replacing a teacher or actual laboratory.
Okay.
So teachers can have experiments in the physical environment also with the students. Then to recap it or to consolidate it, they can have the same experiment demonstrated in the virtual environment as well. They can access the virtual labs in the classroom also, and then they can again consolidate learning by performing the experiment again. So they can also design a specific lesson plan where they can integrate virtual labs, and while teaching the theoretical aspect, they can go on to the virtual environment and they can they can have the lesson, the virtual lab experiment there and then in the classroom, aligning it with the lesson plan. Then use virtual labs to demonstrate experiential skills and help learners in developing such skills. So teachers can also ensure experiential learning by having the experiment in the virtual mode. So that is how teachers can also be benefited by having virtual labs, because they can integrate the virtual labs with their lesson plan and pedagogically have them integrate them in their classroom teaching learning practices which they have on daily basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so that was the advantages of virtual labs, and I'm quite sure that will be beneficial for both the stakeholders, whether you are a student or teacher. Ma'am, here we want to know actually about the policy perspective. Can you please explain to us about the policy perspective of NEP 2020 in the light of Diksha virtual labs, ma'am?
Yeah, that is a wonderful question. Actually, whatever we do in the area of education, that is related to the national education policy which a country have in a particular time period.
Right.
So before NEP 2020, we had NEP, the previous NEP, the program of action of which was just implemented from 1992. The program of action came and the policy was NEP 86. So now the new education policy is known as NEP 2020, New Education Policy 2020. So it has recommendations on various aspects of teaching and learning, various aspects related to schooling, school curriculum at various stages. So it also has recommendations for virtual labs, because today is we are living in the era of technology, and technology is entering into every dimension of our life, and education is not is also not an exception. So that is why the NEP 2020 also recommends having virtual labs on the national platforms that we have, and the purpose with which it recommends having virtual lab you can see on screen. So it says that accessing a quality practical and hands-on experiments based learning experiences to each other, that we have to ensure access to quality practicals and hands-on experiments based on learning experience for each and every student. It also has been seen that in these geographically segregated areas and some of the underdeveloped areas, there is no access to physical labs of a lot of schools. So in such a scenario, with the penetration of internet internet, virtual labs can just perform that, they can fill that gap. Sometimes the equipments are not in order. Virtual lab, the physical lab exists, but the equipments are not in order, or chemicals and other articles get finished. So in the absence of, or in such limitations, having virtual labs can fill the gap. We can have the lab experiments performed in virtual environment. So that is why it is recommended in NEP 2020. Then virtual lab also enhance actual laboratory experience. That is also have been articulated in NEP 2020, that if we have actually performed the experiment, they enhance the actual laboratory experience. Apart from this, we can also have lab based e-resources which can help students in visualizing the concept. So that is also articulated in NEP 2020, that lab based e-resources also need to be developed, and they can help students in visualizing the concept which is there in the form of a theory or a procedure in the lab manuals or in the textbook. So these are some of the recommendations of NEP 2020.
Okay. So ma'am, can you please now tell us about how we can access virtual lab on Diksha platform, ma'am?
Yes, so it is very important for the teachers and for the students to know that how can we actually actually navigate or access these labs virtually. So here on the screen you can see the URL through which we can access virtual labs on Diksha. So URL you can see, I have with me Dr. Nidhi, so you have already introduced to her. So with the help of Nidhi, we will be seeing the virtual labs. Can we cut on to the PPT please, so that we can focus on the URL. The URL is http diksha.gov.in. So this is the URL. By clicking or typing this URL on the top menu bar, after accessing the internet, we can have this page. So this is the Diksha page. Can we have it full screen for now? Yeah. So there are some scrollable banners which we can see here. Can you please scroll down? So if we scroll down, we will see the focus areas of Diksha. It is written focus areas of Diksha. So we can have focus areas of Diksha in place. Please bring it to the screen. And then you at the bottom you can see a few dashes. So by clicking on to the second last, yeah. So we will see the banners of actual focus areas of Diksha. So you can see here the virtual labs are also given. So behind all these dashes there are other focus areas also. So let us click on read more. So after clicking on read more, we will get the actual virtual lab page. So you can see here about virtual labs, you will get to know the what virtual labs are all about, a brief description. Then if we scroll down a little, we will see virtual labs, e-contents on virtual labs. So you can see 7 boxes here. So right now we have virtual labs for 7 classes. So class 6, 7, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. And these virtual labs are not only in science, virtual labs are also there for math, and they are also there for English, science, mathematics and English. So if we click on to explore below any class, so you will get this drop down, and you can see here that these virtual labs are available in 2 languages as of now. So, they are available in Hindi medium and in English medium. So, we can click on to any medium which is of our choice, then we will get this drop down mathematics, science and English, and by clicking on to any subject we will get the experiences of which are aligned to that particular subject. Now, I would request Miss Nidhi to take example of a few virtual labs which relates to science, mathematics and English, and actually show how these virtual labs appear on the screen when we see it, and how to navigate and how to derive learning out of a particular virtual lab experiment. So, over to Miss Nidhi.
Thank you, ma'am. So, now I would like to show some of the experiments, as ma'am has said that we have virtual labs available for science, mathematics and English. So, I will show you one experiment of each of the subjects.
You can go back and show again which class you are taking.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, we were on Diksha Virtual Labs page. So, as you have already got to know that when we scroll down, we get to know that for which classes virtual labs are available. I am clicking on explore icon of class 8. When I have clicked on it, you can see that Hindi and English medium are available. Right now for English medium content is available. So, I have clicked on English medium and I am choosing science. So, when I have selected science, here you can see that the table of content has appeared. All the experiments which are there in the NCERT lab manual, all of them are shown here. So, we can choose the experiment which we wish to study. I am selecting one of the experiment, that is factors affecting liquid pressure. So, first of all, experiment PDF is given. So, you have textbook or lab manual, hard copy of lab manual in which all the experiments are given. Here we have provided digital copy of the same. Then under explanation resources, we have provided further resources. First of all, theory, further theoretical information is given under this. One second. So, here you can see this is the screen where all the content appears. So, theory of this experiment is provided along with pictures. So, you can go through these, you can go through this information and then go to the next resource, that is procedure. So, you can see in table of content I have clicked on procedure. So, I have to move the screen slightly above, and here you can see that all the materials which are required and the procedure required to be performed in the actual laboratory, real lab procedure, that is given, and the procedure which is supposed to be performed while using simulation, all the steps are given. You can go through these steps and then perform simulation. So, I have to scroll, I have to go to the next resource now. So, you can go through these resources one by one so as to get all the information thoroughly. You can click on video and you can go through the content through this video.
What was the concept?
Same height in the remaining two bottles also.
Then for some of the experiments, both video and animation is given. So, animation is
from the base of the bottles.
graphical representation of the same
Fill
experiment.
each bottle with
You can
water
go through
using a
these
paper
videos
cup
and
or a
then
glass tumbler
you can
up to the
perform
mark.
simulation. So, when we perform the simulation, that is the, I'll click on full screen. So, here you can see that all the apparatus which are required for this experiment, they are shown here, and if you need any kind of help while performing experiment, you can click on help, and the steps which are supposed to be performed, all the steps, they appear one by one. So, they have written that we have to select position of hole in each bottle. So, all the 3 bottles are given and we will observe liquid pressure by performing experiment using all the 3 bottles. So, I am selecting, like it is already selected here for bottle 1, this is bottle 1. So, the hole in the bottle is at the top. For bottle 2, I have selected middle, and for bottle 3, I have selected bottom. So, the position, you can see that there are black patches. So, the position has changed. Position of hole has changed as per the selection, and now we have to click on the sellotape. So, what we are doing, we are performing all the steps, like already discussed by Indu ma'am, that whether you get the chance to perform experiment in the actual laboratory or not, here you are getting the chance. So you can perform this experiment and you can try with different position of hole in different bottles, so as to compare whether the results are as per the concept or not. So now we have to fill these bottles with water. All these steps are written in the procedure, and as I have already said that you can click on help and those steps will appear like I had shown in the beginning. So before starting this, here we have started the experiment although, but before showing result, what teachers can do before showing the result, once they have already explained the concept of liquid pressure, they can ask students that according to them which bottle should show higher pressure, liquid pressure, and which bottle should be showing lower liquid pressure. So we are giving them chance to think about this as per the information they have already got from teacher or by reading the concept from theory, and then whatever answer they have given, or they may note it on the blackboard, whiteboard, or in their notebook, and then we can actually show that what is the result of this experiment. So I am clicking on this remove sellotape, and here we are observing that the liquid pressure is highest when the hole was at the bottom. So by this we are giving chance to students to think about the concept. If they have understood it well, they will give the correct answer. If they have not understood it well, then they will get the chance to think that okay, they need to revise this. So here at the top you can see that the concept, the explanation of this concept is given. So by this we can help students in revising the concept, in performing the experiment, and by this we will make class more interesting.
So any student can perform the same experiment 10 times, right?
Yes, 100 times, 1000 times also,
Okay.
as many times as they wish. So teacher can show this in the classroom, or students can perform at home, or both can be done. Now this was example of science. I will take you to another subject. So I will take you to English.
And that was class 9th.
Yeah,
Class 9th was the
eighth.
same class.
That was class 8th.
Okay.
For class 8th again, I have selected subject English, and here you can see, as I have already told, that here we have table of content. So I am selecting one of the experiment, tense conversion. So I have clicked on this. So when we click on this link, we are taken to the various resources. So as you already know that what's the purpose of theory, procedure, self-evaluation. Viva voce means self-evaluation. After performing the experiment, they can check whether they have understood it well or not by answering multiple choice questions, and they get the response at the same moment. So I am directly taking you to the lab of English activity. So here you can see it is written start. You have to write your name. So I am writing my name, or students can write their roll number. Then here you can select that what was the tense and in which tense you wish to change it. So first of all, it is already selected simple present tense. If you want to, you can change the tense, or teacher can change the tense after explaining that how tenses how sentences can be changed as per the requirement. So there are multiple options you can select here. Then you have to select that in which tense you want to convert the given sentence. So already it was given as simple present tense has to be converted into present continuous tense. So I am keeping it like this only. So one sentence is given, Maria plays the guitar. So this is given as a simple present tense. Now we have to convert it to continuous tense. So we can ask students, or we can show 1 or 2 examples, and then we can ask students that they should try to answer here. And as per the response, we can help them. If they have given correct response, then definitely they have understood the concept. But if they have given incorrect answer, that means they require to revise, they require to practice more. So by this, students will also get to know whether they have understood the concept or not. So for example, if I am selecting, if I am going to write, choose the correct option. So Maria dash dash the guitar. So the correct answer should be is, we have to drag the correct answer. Maria is playing the guitar. I am submitting, and here you can see that the feedback is given that both the options selected are correct. But we should know that how if the student has answered incorrectly, then what we can do. So we can change here, like I am changing this into a present perfect tense. And okay, so what we are doing the opposite of that. We are doing present, we are converting present perfect tense into simple present tense. So the sentence given is in perfect tense, Joseph has baked the cake, and now sentence has to be written in simple present tense. So here we have only one blank, so we can ask students what term should be used. So okay, I think we should choose the wrong answer. I am choosing Joseph was the cake, and submit. So here they have given feedback. So if the student has answered incorrectly, then they give the description, they tell the remedy, and by this student gets to know how improvement can be done. And because we have multiple options here, a lot of practice can be done using these resources itself. So that's all about English activity. Now I'll take you to mathematics activity. So I have taken you back on the virtual labs page, and now I'm selecting class 9th, English medium again, mathematics. Again there is TOC of the experiments. So I am going to select one of the experiment.
So this is the list of various experiments.
Yes, ma'am.
Aligned to that class.
Yes, ma'am. So the list of experiments is given. Here I have chosen one of the experiment, that is area of trapezium. I am clicking on this resource, and I have clicked on this link. Again the same resources are available, so I am directly taking you to the simulator. Here it is written, first of all, what is the objective of the experiment, what prerequisite knowledge is required, all that is given. Because we are going to perform experiment activity on trapezium, definition of trapezium is also given, so that students can revise what they are going to study. So we have clicked on start, and here at the top you can see that first of all we have to select. Before looking at the top, you can see that on one corner all the instructions are given, what steps are required to be performed. So you can side by side read and perform each and every step one by one. So the first step is that we have to select the dimensions of the trapezium. We can change it as per our choice. So I am changing this length 5 centimeter, then base I have kept 6 centimeter. Okay, I am changing it to, okay, I am keeping it 4, and then we can select height to 6 centimeter. So once we have selected dimensions as per our choice, we can click on draw trapezium. Here you can see that the trapezium has appeared. Then we can click on this trapezium so as to have another trapezium. So now we have two trapezium. when I have double clicked on one of the trapezium so that I can join them. So when I have joined these two trapezium, we can see that this has become parallelogram. So all the students in class 9th must have studied about parallelogram. So by this activity, they get to know that actually the area of trapezium is half of area of parallelogram. So otherwise, if we would tell them verbally, or if we just write as a sentence on the board that area of trapezium is half of area of parallelogram, it is likely that most of the students would forget within few days. But if we are showing this to
so
the
they can
students,
actually visualize the
Yes.
result. Yeah.
correct. So by this, students are visualizing the concept, they are understanding, and they will remember it for very long duration. So that is the purpose of virtual labs, that whatever they are studying, they should understand it thoroughly and they should remember it for much longer duration than the traditional way of teaching just by using board and books. So here below, observation is given at the bottom, observation is given, the same observation is given what I have already said. Then we can click on next. Here the formula is shown because area of parallelogram is double of area of trapezium, or area of trapezium is half of area of parallelogram. We have shown what all steps are required to be performed for finally getting the area of trapezium. Then here is the conclusion. So all the steps are shown, teacher can explain it, and then students can go through this as many times as they wish to, and by this they will get the complete benefit of virtual labs. So that's all.
That
Thank
was
you.
really wonderful, and we are running very short of time, but still, ma'am, we want to take few questions from our viewers and learners, ma'am. We have received so many questions about VL4 social science. Do we have other subjects than English, maths and science, ma'am?
Yes, that's a valid question, because virtual labs are important for any subject. We can also have virtual labs in social sciences, and as a way forward we have this plan of having virtual labs for social science subject as well.
In near future?
Because there is a lot of, yes, there is a lot of learning which concepts which need 3D visualization also, and also a lot of remote learning is associated to the subjects of social sciences like geography, history and political science as well. Especially in history, we learn about our historical heritage, our cultural heritage, but we cannot visit each and every heritage spot, and for that matter heritage is spread all over the world. Every nation has its own cultural and historical heritage. So having all those heritage in virtual form actually help learners learn social science better. For example, we have lots of historical monuments which are there in all over India, and which belongs to the different historical periods. So we can have virtual tours of all those historical monuments. So like that we can associate the learning of virtual labs with social science as well, and we will be having, as a future plan, we also have to have social science subject also in the
Future.
Virtual labs.
Okay, sure, ma'am. Ma'am, Monica also wants to know how to download virtual lab app in phone. So although it's a website,
Not the virtual lab only, because virtual labs are placed on Diksha. So Diksha is in the form of a app as well. So you can have that app installed in your mobile device, and like that you can access all the material which is available on Diksha. So, in the virtual labs also theory and other aspects can be downloaded as well, they are downloadable.
Yes, ma'am.
The simulations cannot be downloaded, other things can be downloaded and can be used offline as well. But to have it on mobile, you can install Diksha app. So, it may happen that everything is not there in the app format, but slowly and gradually what is there in the portal version of Diksha, we have it on app version also. So, by installing Diksha app, you can access anything which is available on Diksha web version.
So ma'am, they can use Diksha on their phone. Is it available on mobile version?
Yes, yes, that is
Okay.
what I have said, that it is available in the form of as app also.
Okay.
So, from their Play Store, or if they are having an iOS, from the App Store, they can install Diksha.
Okay, ma'am, in a brief, we would like to know, Namta wants to know actually which things can be considered as lab-based e-resources.
Which themes?
Things.
So, if you are aware of NCERT textbooks, I am taking example of science and mathematics here. For social sciences, we have yet to identify the areas where virtual labs are applicable. One example I have already given. For science and mathematics, NCERT has its lab manuals as well, where all the to which we are calling things, areas or concept which needs experimentations are listed in the form of activities, lab activities, and keeping those activities in center, these virtual labs have been designed. The reference has been taken from the manuals, lab manuals, and then the lab experiment in the virtual forms have been developed.
Okay, so ma'am, actually we are running very short of time, although we have so many questions in our mind, but still as we have to wrap up this session. So before that, let me thank you Indu ma'am, thank you Nishidhi ma'am
you so much.
for being here, for your valuable time and for your very informative session. Thank you so very much. And dear learners and viewers, let me tell you the way you can register yourself. You have to write CIET in your any of your browser, and you will see this particular page as you can see. And here in the activity section, you have to go to the workshop and training section, and this page will appear in front of you. As you can see, in current activity, we have this particular online training program, integration of virtual labs in teaching learning, and here you can see all the schedule and the coming lectures. Tomorrow we will be discussing virtual lab as a learning tool and who can participate in this particular online training program quiz. Any one of you, whether you are teacher, student, teacher, educator, parent, administrator or general public. Objective of this particular training program or competition is here, and you can see our program schedule day by day, and we will be uploading our video link here. You can see all the video link here only, and for that particular quiz you need to scan this particular QR code as you can see on your television screen. Either you can click on this particular link as well. You have to register yourself first, then only you can participate in this particular quiz. As you know, our training sessions will be from till 19th of January, and we will be having our 5 days online training program, and this is our feedback form. You can click on this particular link, either you can scan this QR code for your feedback, and any query you can write to us through our email address. This is our email address or this is our number. You can call us with all your queries and doubts. As you have so many doubts and queries, you can write to us on training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in, and only those participants who score more than 70% and above get a certificate. Only they will get a certificate. So we will be having 5 days online training program. be with us, and it's time for me to wrap up this session, but let me share a very important piece of information with you all regarding our e-content competition. As you can see on your television screen, CIET NCERT is happy to announce the All India Children's Educational E-Content Competition for this year. If you are a teacher, educator, student or independent educational e-content creator, we invite you to send in your best e-content for the competition. For more detail and the registration form, you can visit the activity section of our official website, that is ciet.ncert.gov.in, or you can either scan the QR code that is on your screen right now. The last date for sending your entries is 20th January 2024. 20th January is the last date, and it's time for me to wrap up this session here only. So me, Renu Bhatt, along with my whole team is taking your leave, but you stay tuned to eVidya channels and NCERT official YouTube channel for more informative program. Namaskar.